I'm Ben Collins, and amongst other things, I'm a brand ambassador for Warranty Solutions Group. Now, whether you're a seasoned petrolhead or you're buying your first car, buying a used vehicle can be a daunting process. So we've teamed up with the Motor Ombudsman to bring you our top tips so you can buy a quality vehicle from a seller that you can trust. So to help me out, and I really need help when it comes to buying second-hand cars, I'm joined by Bill Fennell, Managing Director of the Motor Ombudsman and the Chief Ombudsman himself. Great to see you.
Thank you very much.
So actually, what do you guys do? TMO, what does it mean?
Well, the Motor Ombudsman, we're the first and only dedicated ombudsman for the automotive industry. And basically what we do is help consumers and businesses resolve complaints or disputes if they arise. So we're a free of charge service. We have thousands of garages and dealerships up and down the country, part of us. And what we provide really for consumers is peace of mind when they're having their car serviced, they buy a new car or they buy a used car.
Okay, awesome. So are you pretty handy at buying cars yourself?
I try to be.
Yeah.
I've got an older car and a newer car. Try and always look at the residual values, look at what the mileage will do, and insurance costs as well. So I think I'm pretty good.
So you look at it almost like an investment, as well as you must be thinking about reliability issues and things like that. You'll pick the right car.
And also, does it really suit my lifestyle? So what am I looking for? We don't have children, but we have dogs.
Yeah.
So we're not into the sports car mode. We're always looking for, well, what are we going to do with the luggage when we take the dogs with us? So very much we're looking at kind of the lifestyle that we have, the price of the car, the residual value of the car when we come to sell it, and then what the running costs are going to be.
So running costs really vary from car to car. I mean, they vary massively, don't they? So
Yeah.
what sort of things should consumers be thinking about when they make their purchase?
Well, I think the first bit is, what kind of car do you want? What's going to suit you? Do you want a premium? Do you want a sports car? Do you want an SUV? Do you want EV? I mean, that's the new choice that's coming along. Do you want a used EV, a new EV? And then kind of have a look, go on once you've decided, well, I'm looking for this model or that model, then I'd say go and look on some of the forums, see what consumers are saying, good and bad, about the vehicles. You can then go on to online. A lot of the websites now have comparison tools.
Right.
So you could look at a number of different cars at the same time, looking at the spec, looking at the running cost, looking at the price, what options do they have on them? And really that will help narrow down for you what you're looking for.
So there's hundreds of outlets where you can go and buy a car. Do you guys give advice on where you should try and find a car that's going to be in good shape?
Yeah, and I think it's expanding all the time. You can now buy cars just all online. You might not necessarily even test drive them. They might just turn up at your doorstep. But I think what we would say is, what you want to do is use a Motor Ombudsman accredited dealer. You can go onto our website. We've got there a garage finder, so you can go on there, put in your postcode, put in what radius of you want to travel, and it will give you all of the garages or dealerships you can go to, for that extra peace of mind that if something does go wrong, then you can bring that dispute to the Motor Ombudsman.
So, I mean, you go on these outlets, you sort of look around, some of them are private sellers, so what are your thoughts on doing that? Because you can save money doing that.
Yeah, I think we see a lot of that at the Motor Ombudsman. I think you've got to be very careful with the private seller. Your legal rights aren't the same. If you're buying from a business, whether it be a dealership or a garage, you've got a lot of kind of the laws on your side for buying. When you buy privately, you're not covered so well. So there are dangers. What looks like a real bargain and might be slightly less than what the garage or dealer is asking for, you could end up with a problem vehicle that's going to cost you a lot of money to resolve. So I think it really is, be aware if you're buying privately.
If someone then develops a fault with their car, they want to go back to the dealer, they've got a complaint. So what process is there? What guarantees, I suppose, are there that you can follow up on?
Well, the first thing is all the garages and dealers that are accredited to us are also signed up to our codes of practice. And those codes of practice give a higher level of service to consumers and better coverage than even legislation. So if there is a problem, then we can look at the codes of practice, see if they've been breached, see if any legislation is breached, and then base our decision making on those. So it's an extra layer of peace of mind and coverage for the consumer.
And so it's quite specific, and that's something you get beyond buying privately, obviously, because you're in the Wild West, aren't you?
It's exactly.
How important do you think it is to do a test drive, apart from the fact that they're fun? Do you think that's an important part of buying?
I wouldn't buy a car without test driving it. I think it is an important piece. You can look at a car, if you're not used to a particular brand or a particular model, how do you know how it handles? How do you know how it feels? Getting a test drive to me is critical, just to make sure the seating position is comfortable, the whole driving position is comfortable. It does what you think it's going to do in terms of the interior space. So I think anybody who's thinking of buying new or used should always have a test drive.
Yeah, unless I suppose if you know exactly what it is you're after and you've been in one, but even still, you should, you can sit in a car, you get a feeling quite quickly, don't you, about how well it's been looked after, stuff like that.
Exactly,
You
yeah.
just
You get
sight, sound and smell.
Yeah, and sometimes it's the little things. The mileage will give you an indication, but how worn are the mats, etc.
Yeah.
If they've been there through, it's a 7-year-old or 8-year-old car, does give you some sort of indication.
Yeah.
But I also think the way technology is changing, if your car's 4, 5, 7 years old, the next generation could be very different in terms of the in-car electronics.
Yeah.
You need to have a look at those.
So cars are getting more complicated, more technology packed into them. There's more stuff that can go wrong. Have you any tips on how you can sort of protect yourself against the costs of having to end up in a garage with some hugely expensive repair bill?
Yeah, I think first thing is manufacturer's warranty. Has the vehicle still got a manufacturer's warranty? They normally last 3 to 7 years, depending on the brand that you're buying. But I think if it's gone, if the manufacturer's warranty is lapsed, then you want to have a look at the extended warranty that you can buy from the garage or dealer, because that could really help you. If something unforeseen happened to the vehicle, then an extended warranty is key.
So it's a bit like car dealers with warranties. There's lots of different providers. So how do you go about choosing the right one?
Well, the first thing is we've got a code of practice for warranties. So the business needs to be accredited to the Motor Ombudsman. We look at then, again, what are the guidelines that the warranty provider has to cover. And I think it's really critical looking at the T's and C's, even for those that are part of the Motor Ombudsman. The terms and conditions will vary, and it's always attention to detail. You as the buyer, you need to make sure that when you're buying an extended warranty, you understand what is and isn't covered.
Okay, and is there a process by which a warranty company becomes accredited with the Motor Ombudsman?
Yep. Firstly, they'll apply, or we may speak to them, we may see the kind of work that they're doing and think they'd be a really good fit with the Motor Ombudsman. Then once they've done that, we send them what the guidelines are that they need to meet, and then we'll do an assessment with them to make sure that they do meet the criteria. And then we have during the course of the years, we have regular reviews, regular meetings with them. And part of the role of an ombudsman is actually to improve the quality of service within the industry. So we're constantly looking for how the warranty companies can improve, and they're, on the whole, the ones that work with us are really happy to move forward and try and represent their sector even better than they do currently.
Okay, cool. So you actually do a lot of the work for the consumer already, but is there anything else you should think about when you're picking a warranty, about being suitable, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it's really you want to know the price, you want to know what's covered. I think if you can speak to the garage or dealer that's selling it, go through it with them. But make sure that any questions you've got are answered before you buy the warranty, so you've got peace of mind and you understand. What we tend to see happening with the complaints we get is people buy an extended warranty, don't read it properly, and then when something happens, the dispute is, well, I thought it was covered. And it normally is clear within the document what is and what isn't.
Interesting. So that's worth a read, because then you find
definitely.
You either know you're covered or you're not.
Definitely.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for explaining it. That's awesome. So there you go. So if you want peace of mind, you need to go out and get yourself a really good warranty that's going to cover you for the items you expect to be covered. Motor Ombudsman is going to be there to back you up. They've done a lot of the research for you. So that's it from me, and I'll see you out there. Choose wisely and get a good warranty.